Okay. So this is something brief about the Indian education system. About the employability, roughly around 9% of 600 million workforce in India will not have the job what they're currently doing. They will have a different kind of jobs. IT, please change the security setting and do not allow the video on for other participants. Please note that while this session is on, kindly switch off your video. Only panelists, they will be required to turn their video on. IT, please take care. So let's spend a minute in terms of really trying to really understand what is learning and what is education. So learning is essentially, so most of us, whether it is a human being or whether it is animals or now these days even machine, they learn. And learning is essentially a process of acquiring new skills, knowledge, right, attitudes, value, which inherently we really learn from our surrounding, our families, right? This learning, we also really learn about our environment, right? So today you're in Bombay, tomorrow perhaps you will be in Nigeria or New York. You will really try to really learn and adopt to the new environment. And that has been embedded into our DNA, right? And whatever little we could really understand about how our human brain functions, we try to really create artificial intelligence or deep learning or machine learning, neural network for that matter. Learning is essentially a self-guided, it's in autonomous fashion. But once you really start learning in a guided fashion, and that's where the learning becomes education. So education is essentially you can really help somebody in a guided fashion to really learn them by a structured path or a structured design, wherein learning could really happen in a structured and non-structured fashion. Both. Now, let's try to really understand what is the artificial intelligence and what is data science, right? And that will really help us because this will really help you where AI can really intervene and what will be the limitations of AI. So AI, my definition of AI is essentially, it's an aggregation of human intelligence at a scale for better decision making. And the example I can really give you, Google Map, right? So while you're driving a car in Mumbai, Google Map is able to really give you the live feed of millions of people, those who are feeding the knowledge and data points into the Google Map so that you can really take the right decision. You can identify the shortest path, right? So this actually helps you to aggregate the knowledge at a scale for the better decision making. It also tries to really mimic the behavior of the human being. And that's where the artificial intelligence word has come into the picture, right? While data science is basically making the sense out of the data, and it is, you can say it is the modern form of the traditional analytics, which is primarily based on the statistics. So the modern data science is building up automated data products, right? It is also analyzes the large data and uses a lot of AI techniques, which could be essentially deep learning, machine learning, computer vision, natural language processing, robotics, all those aspects. The third facet is essentially is a machine learning and deep learning. And majority of the AI applications today, you'll see 90% of those applications are built on the deep learning and machine learning. And machine learning, in a simple word, is a basically smart way of building up a software without rewriting the code, wherein the code or application learns from the data, and that is how the human being learns. So today, say yesterday you learned C language, and today you want to learn Python, or you did MA in history and now you want to learn the Python. So you're not going to go back to your mother and say, okay, change the wiring of my brain. You actually start learning with examples and that capability you have. And that capability you want to really build into the machines. And that's where the machine learning comes into the handy. Machine learning is an AI and data science technique, which also find the pattern in the data. These three things are heavily used in terms of really building any use case within education specifically, or for that matter, any other industry, which could be telecom, it could be health, it could be insurance, it could be BFSI or any other industry. These areas are agnostic. The application of AI in education becomes quite challenging because you're trying to really model the behavior of the human. And humans essentially do not act linearly. They might think linearly, but they don't act linearly, right? And learning is such a complex phenomena, and still scientists are trying to really figure out the ways how human being actually learns. Some parameters we know that why they learn, and there are a lot of parameters which are hidden, which influences the learning outcome of a student, right? And some are internal, some are the data which you can really capture. Perhaps you can capture about the grades of the student, you can capture the attendance, you can capture the temperature in the classroom, you can capture the lighting arrangement in the classroom, but the home environment, the environment where the student is living, the influence of the teacher on the student, the environment, external environment within the college, outside the classroom, it also determines a lot of stuff about the student's learning. And hence there are thousands of parameters, millions of parameters which are not aware. And that's the reason building up a mathematical model becomes extremely difficult and challenging. Even though this has been challenging, but it has not stopped researchers, academicians, scientists to really think about applying AI into education. And this is not a new field. For last 30 years, people have been building up various models and then trying to really apply in AI. But this has picked up exponential curve in last 8-10 years because of new algorithms, because of massive compute power, because of new platforms, and you have a lot of digital data available, which help you to really build the models. So let's see what kind of student data you will require and what kind of digital systems are there, which actually feeds into building up a model. So you have live streaming video, just like we are having on Zoom. You have education ERPs, you have a Move platform, you have inquiry management system, you have CRMs, you have online applications, you have learning management systems, right? This is the framework at MUni we have created, which actually digital stack framework, which helps you to run a successful higher education, or for that matter, any education. So essentially, you have to really create a course or a product and then launch. And if the product is bad, nobody is going to really buy, right? So that's one of the very strong pillar. And once you design the product, you need to really enroll a student. That's the second aspect, which comes to the admission. So you need to really have the right fitment of the candidate into the program, right? And the third aspect is, of course, once you get the student, you need to teach them, right? You need to enable them, facilitate them in their learning process, right? You need to really create the environment, right environment, wherein teachers can really impart knowledge. They can really teach at the same time. They can also learn. The fourth aspect is, while they're studying, you need to do a lot of academic administration. You need to issue them the transcript, you need to do the assessment, you need to collect the fees, right? You need to really do a lot of multiple interventions. And the fifth piece is you need to really impart skilling because to really make them industry ready, because you can't really keep on changing the curriculum at regular interval because of a lot of logistic issues. University curriculums, you can't really change every 3 months or 6 months. There are multiple reasons for that. We'll not really go deeper into that. But what we have thought of, let's create a separate pillar for skilling, because at the end of the day, cost of education is growing exponentially. And most of the students, they borrow the money, they have to really repay. And until unless they are not skilled, they will not be able to really get the employment. And the last piece, which is the most important piece, is basically job placement internship. And that's the final, say, assessment of the learning outcome, whatever we have taught to the students. So now I will be talking about the use cases in these 5 pillars respectively, right? Now, what kind of data you typically require? Because as we have seen, artificial intelligence or data science or machine learning, they all essentially needs the data. And if you don't have the data, you can't really build up any computational model or mathematical model. You can't really do any kind of analytics. You can't really build machine learning model. You can't do AI. So what kind of data you will require? So you'll require demographic data, you'll require behavior data, right? Whether the student learns in night, whether he likes to watch video in Sanskrit or Marathi or Hindi or English. Uh, what is their span of attention? Do they like this short video or a long video? Do they really like to really read, or they learn by watching, or they learn by doing, right? So this behavioral data you need to really collect, right? Are they theory person or are they application student, right? Then the environment data, right? So it is absolutely difficult to really capture the environment data, but still you can really do through some CRM, human resource systems. Then the performance, learning outcome, assessment, right? Examination system, right? So this data will give you, uh, this data will come typically from your campus management system, alumni management system, right? So if you really combine all these data, it will be easier for you. At least you have data, not easier. You will have a data to really build different kind of, say, learning models or predictive models about the student. So let's see where AI can be applied in current or future. So artificial based, intelligence based course curriculum design. So one of the major thing is, let's take analogy. If iPhone was designed properly, if it was badly designed, nobody would have really bought the iPhone, right? So they spent a lot of time, effort in terms of designing. Unfortunately, the sad part, across the world in terms of academia, in terms of designing the course curriculum, the traditional models we adopt, we formulate the expert committee, which is industry expert, and you have the internal faculty committee, and they kind of do the brainstorming, and then they really create the curriculum. The problem, which is a good aspect, but also it leads to the problem as well, because 10 people or 15 people or 20 people may not be representative of the universe, right? The kind of jobs which is coming in the market, the skills are so dynamic that specifically, let's say in AI education, the new skills are coming every 3 months or 6 months. And humanly, it is not possible, even though best of the expert, to really keep a track of those skills. And hence, your curriculum becomes redundant within 3 months or 2 months or maybe in a month's time. So one is, of course, changing the curriculum. Second, getting the input from the market that what has changed. And that's where you cannot really rely completely on the human being. Of course, human being need to really validate, but let the AI does its job in terms of really collecting the data in terms of jobs and skills. And this eventually tells you that what need to be taught. And I'll just show you a slide how we did that. Let me show you. So this is the job skill analysis which we did for thousands of jobs. And based on that, we could really realize that what skills are important for the curriculum for data science or perhaps AI. And you could really see by analysis of these thousands of jobs, we could really identify that Python is one of the most important skill. SQL is another important skill. Machine learning is another important skill. And where these skills are being used, and not only in making of data scientists, but these skills are also used in terms of really building modern software developer, because they need to really develop smart software, not a dumb software, right? This can also give you a deeper insight. You can also actually see that which skill has got how many jobs. So you can see Python has got 18,000 jobs, machine learning has got 5,700 jobs, right? So this kind of work AI can really come and help you. Analytics can really come help you. Data science can really come and help you in terms of really giving you unbiased inputs for designing your product, which is essentially a curriculum design or a course design. That's the one piece. I actually delivered 2 workshops in Singapore and Dubai on how to use AI specifically for the course design, right? It's a very deep topic in itself. And not many companies worldwide are working, but I'm glad that our team has really done a significant work in last 6-7 years. Second piece is education marketplace. So once you design a course, you will really launch that course on education marketplace, and we can really see today Coursera, or whether edX or Udemy or various listing sites or a MOOC platform, they also have one outer interface, which is the marketplace, and which is intelligent. And this intelligent comes essentially from the machine learning based recommender system. So they are able to really give the recommendation based on your interest. But we need to really build a better recommender system because still I see on a 10 scale what job Coursera or edX or other edtech companies are doing on 10 scale. This is very rudimentary recommender system, which actually gives you recommendation based on the interest. Essentially, it should give you the recommendation based on multiple factors, not only the interest, right? It should really give you the recommendation, what course you're likely to finish, right? Which course can really fetch you the better job, right? Which course suits to your past, say, academic performance or multiple criteria. And the weightage, of course, the learner or a seeker, knowledge seeker can really decide that what is his finally objective, whether you want to really go for the job or whether you want to really gain deeper level of knowledge. What is his objective? And based on those objectives, the recommender system should smart enough to really give him a recommendation about courses which can really fulfill those objectives. It should not be purely just like YouTube's recommender system or Amazon's recommender system, that yes, I have shown, start searching for a Rihanna song, it will start showing you the Rihanna song. This is pretty rudimentary kind of recommender system. And that's one of the challenge currently. One of the current challenge in AI that their recommender systems are pretty rudimentary. The second area where AI is playing a major role currently is in admission. So how do you really identify the right candidate who will do justice to your program based on the learning outcome, right? So AI can really do that. It can really rate applicants. AI is currently also rating the lead into CRM, and there are multiple systems out there, including Ammuni's own system, right? A virtual admission counselor, which can really work 24/7 and without getting tired. It can really have a wonderful conversation, not only the text conversation, but also the conversational bots are there, which can really talk to you just like a human being. And in AJ Graham Bell Award, I have seen one of the company, they have built, they have improved their language conversation models, which looks quite natural, just like a human being, right? You don't feel like as if you're talking to a machine. The third area, which is central to the whole learning and knowledge domain, is now once you get the student, how do you really educate them? And that's where the traditional monolithic learning management systems are there, which forms the base, and this also provides you the lot of data about building of a model. But now you have a lot of better learning management system, which is called social learning management system. And they have embedded AI technology, which can really offer the micro learning. They can really give the course recommendation and all those kind of stuff. The second piece where this is educators' delight, that can we really bring the personalization? Because today, one rule fits for all, right? Kind of model is there. So you design one curriculum, and everybody has to really follow the same methodology and same curriculums consumed in the same time frame. And that's where the personalized learning can really play a significant role, wherein you can redesign the curriculum on the fly to suit to the individual need, right? And logistically, it's not possible in traditional education system, but in digital world, it is possible that you can really create the segment for one. The next area, which is learners analytics, again, it is the old phenomena. So learners analytics essentially collects the data about the learner's environment, how it interacts, and essentially to optimize the learning outcome. So you collect a lot of other data, right? And you can also use it to really predict the performance of the student. So can you really predict whether this student will pass the subject of machine design, right? Or electrical engineering, or whether he will really do well in mechanical versus electrical, or whether he will do well in data science, right? It will also be handy tool for giving nudges from the machine. It will be good assistant to the student at the same time, faculty, because faculties are burdened with a lot of administrative work. The next area is model of teaching and learning, right? So you can really build a lot of teaching and learning models once you have the data, right? And the next area is basically modeling student learning, right? So there are a couple of models. One of the known model is uh, BKT, which is Bayesian knowledge tracing. And this is based on the hidden Markov model, which essentially can really predict the student ability to respond based on the kind of responses it has given to the sequence of questions, right? So whether he has correctly responded or wrongly responded, right? We'll organize a separate session sometime to really take deeper into one of these aspects. The next area where universities and colleges are struggling, that is faculty members are burdened with massive load of administration and assessment. And that's where a lot of administrative work, routine work, AI can really take care and do bring the automation. Facial recognition based attendance systems are used in a lot of universities. We have also built one of those systems. AI proctor based assessment came pretty handy during the COVID period. We rolled out AI based proctoring system for NITI, IIM Shillong, Goa University, multiple institutions, and it helped to really reduce down cheating at a mass scale, right? It helped us to reduce down or eliminate impersonation. To give you a case in point, there was a student appearing for the examination in Goa University. And 10 o'clock, we observed that the candidate gender is girl. And at 10:15, this girl became a boy and location changed from Panji to Delhi. And humanly, it is not possible while thousands of candidates are appearing for the examination, but our AI system could really flag, and then we intervene and we really block the student. KYC is one of the area where it is being used because typically one candidate applies, the other candidate get the job, appear for the interview, and third candidate get the job. So how do you really eliminate that? Our team will give you the demonstration on that as well. Skilling, as I already discussed, that yes, you can really map the jobs and skilling, and once you have that skilling job mapping, you can actually recommend the courses which can improve the skilling of candidate. You can also AI for identifying the skill gap and how to really fulfill those skill gap based on the objective set by the individuals of the organization, right? And the last piece, most important piece, which is the job placement and internship, and that's where we have seen that it really works pretty well in terms of a job recommender system, right? And the job recommender system can really give. So this is how the job recommender system typically looks like, right? So based on candidate profile, it can really give you the recommendation about which job is suitable jobs for your profile, and it takes consideration about your skills. It considers about your behavior, educational background, and everything, right? Profile recommendation, which is on the flip side, it advises employer that which candidate will be suitable for that particular job. CV parsing, you upload the CV and the AI system can really can fetch the important keywords from those CV, which could be essentially name, skills, location, email, phone numbers, other stuff. Virtual interview simulator, which can really help a student to really talk in a virtual environment for mock interview preparation. Smart applicant tracking system can really give you end-to-end visibility about where the applicant is to both the university administrator at the same time to the recruiter. Reducing biases, AI can really help you to flag out the biases, because essentially in the recruitment process, you bring a lot of biases which is based on the language, caste, creed, religion, academic background, the way they dress, right? So, but AI can really flag out based on the statistical models, and it can really tell you that yes, out of the pool of 20 interviewers, these are the 5 interviewers, those who have some kind of bias, which could be led by this particular reason. And you can do the orientation or you can remove them from the panel. The AI-based automated campus hiring workflow, both for the recruiter and the universities. And most of these things we have implemented in our own system called Munisigal. So with this note, I finish my talk about application of AI in education. There are a lot of infinite future possibilities of application of AI, but not without challenges. And I use this forum to invite other universities to come and collaborate with us. We are also collaborating deeply with faculty members of AGES and students. They also build a lot of data models. We give them the real access of millions of candidate data, anonymous data, so that they can really build the model. Thank you so much for patient hearing. And I hand over to Anita. Anita, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that discussion and the in-depth details about AI and education. So I would like to, we'll have a panel discussion which will be on AI skilling and education. So I would like to introduce the moderator for the panel, that is Ms. Nida Parker, professor at AGES School of Data Science. And I would request Nida to take it over. Nida?
Thank you, ma'am, for that brief introduction. A very good afternoon to all those who are attending this meetup on AI skilling and education in academic setup. So this is a topic for our first panel discussion, that is AI skilling and education in academic setup. So let me quickly introduce you to a great set of panelists that we have for today's panel discussion. So firstly, I would like you to invite or welcome Mr. Dilip Shenoy, former Secretary General, Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, FICCI, Mr. Satish Mittal, Lead Mobile and Connectivity Partner, Meta, Mr. Bhupesh Deheria, founder of MUni Campus, Malshri Kanodia, Consultant, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, EY, Mr. Rajiv Gupta, Pro Vice Chancellor, Rajasthan Technical University, Kota, and Dr. J.V. Desai, Vice Chancellor, MVN University. So I would please request the panelists to turn on their cameras. Thank you, panelists. So first of all, a warm welcome to this panel discussion, all of you. Once again, I extend my warm welcome to all of you. So to begin with this discussion on AI skilling and education, I would like to pose my first question to Mr. Dilip Shenoy, sir. So today, in today's world, there is a lot of being spoken or talked about developing AI skills and education. So around education, it has been, earlier it was not there, but for the past few years, there's a lot of talk going on around developing the AI skills and in education and around education. So what is your take on it, sir? So I request you to kindly unmute yourself. Your mic
Thank
is
you,
muted.
Nida, for that
Thank you.
question. Just listen with interest Bhupesh's presentation. So your question could be interpreted in two different ways. One is the use of artificial intelligence and skilling and and education from admission to placement, which was very well articulated by Bhupesh. And the other is teaching artificial intelligence and machine learning in the education and skilling space, right? So I think for a want of I can't expand more on what Bhupesh has said because he's extensively presented the applications and shown you real-time dashboards, etc. there. So I'll switch to actually teaching AI and machine learning in skilling and education, right? And I think there are three trends which are taking place globally. Businesses are becoming more actually digital. You have, of course, a colleague from the metaverse here, so he will actually explain what is happening in that space, right? And you have Web3 coming on, and jobs are getting. Earlier you required computer education if you wanted to join the IT sector. Now, almost all sectors have computer specialists, and not necessarily a computer educated person would be able to get that job in that sector unless he has some sectoral knowledge. So I think the artificial intelligence part or machine learning is going to be integral to all forms of work going forward. And with the 5G revolution also coming in, and 6G also here, with the with more of digitization happening, younger and younger people need to actually learn about the ability of basically machine learning, and programming machine, and intelligent automation is the next level of that. So I believe that it has to actually now be integrated in school curriculum. There are a lot of other things happening. A lot of organizations are carrying out coding challenges or machine learning challenges and other things like that. But I think it has to be integrated in school curriculum, at least from a very early age. It is very interesting because children are exposed to a lot of this at home, whether it's through gaming or whether it is through watching television or interacting with parents, and therefore a kind of a introduction at a very early stage in school will be necessary. The second aspect is that when in the in education, even if it's history or geography or something, a kind of a liberal arts course versus a science versus engineering course, I believe that the content of machine learning and artificial intelligence and its applications will have to be introduced, integrated with their specialization and how it actually works and fundamentals going on there. And most importantly, for people who are neither in education but are in a job, right? I think there'll be a huge agenda for reskilling, upskilling, and new skilling of different variety of workers and even employees, not necessarily blue collar workers, all sorts of employees. As Bhupesh in his slide very nicely showed, Python emerging as the largest requirement. So you'll have all of this coming out in different job roles, and the need for this to be integrated in a lifelong learning and a continuous learning and upgradation cycle will be essential. So I think I'll stop here with this brief remarks. Happy to answer any more questions.
Thank you very much for your brief insight to that. Continuing to what you have said, that the syllabus is changing and a lot of things have been introduced at school level to the kids. Certainly moving towards the college, how do you think can we bridge the gap between the academia and the industry?
That's to me, Nida, again?
Yes, sir. That's to you.
Okay.
You can continue your.
I think I have two very distinguished academicians on this panel here, so I don't want to actually three if I put Bhupesh as an academician also. What I would say is that the challenge in the academic system, right, is that it's a set curriculum framing thing. And Bhupesh actually, alluded to that when he was speaking, right? So supposing I want to change curriculum in an entity, in a university, the department has to recommend the change. It has to go to the academic council. It has to go to the Senate, and then has to be approved by the university. Then maybe sent either to AICTE or to UGC, for approval. And it's a hugely time-consuming process. And then you got to create curriculum, teaching plans, all of that. Now that is going to take a lot of time. So a faster way, and this was experimented. We have Molishri here, so I won't, go and tread into area of the Ministry of Skill Development. But if I were to take, a lot of the NSDC programs were offered through the sector skill councils, were offered as an add-on program to universities and colleges. For example, just take an example. It's not an artificial intelligence example, but I'll give you an example. In the telecom engineering kind of syllabus of most of the universities and colleges, earlier, fiber optic cable and fiber optic characteristics was not taught. And when India went in for a fiber optic kind of installation, right, there were hardly any engineers to do any work on the ground. So the Telecom Sector Skill Council actually developed a short-term course at different levels, partnered with different engineering colleges and had it on. So there's no need to go through the, department, Senate, and, very enterprising vice chancellors and heads of department could actually take that on. So I believe that the collaboration will be very, very specific. I'm sure Meta will be doing a lot of other stuff with universities, but it has to be very specific and very focused. And both sides should come into an open mind. I'm just saying this is only in curriculum and teaching. For example, Stanford and Apple have a great relationship. If Apple is getting any new technology, they first share it with Stanford. And Stanford develops a course and starts giving it to students who can then be employed, or propagate that thing from Apple. So that kind of collaboration is required as we go forward.
Thank you for your salient points, sir. Dr. Jagannath Desai, would you like to add up some point to this specific question, sir?
Good afternoon, everyone. So, first of all, I compliment with Mr. Bhupesh. He spoke very well and he has covered everything. You asked one question to Mr. Dilip, how the universities are getting geared up for these kind of challenges. Definitely, as far as infra is concerned, we are lagging a lot. Whatever the software Mr. Bhupesh told, many of the universities, especially private universities, I come from a private university in Haryana, in the Delhi region. Infra-wise, we are lagging a lot. He has covered starting from launching a course to the even admission, etc. He has covered very beautifully. The point is, now Indian universities are introducing this AI and ML in the curriculum. But what we are thinking as a university is totally different. How can one add AI and ML in the Department of Computer Science? Basically, it belongs to mathematics. Altogether, it should be a group, because when I was studying in IIT, I have seen whenever these kind of challenges come, they come out with altogether a different group to teach that particular domain. So such challenges are there with AI and ML also. So everything starts with a data. As Bhupesh rightly pointed out, data is the very fundamental. So even in schools, I interacted 2-3 schools in Delhi. If you see the CBSE curriculum, data and AI go parallel. They should not be parallel. They should be sequential. Right. First, people should understand data. At least 2-3 subjects has to be there on the data management. featuring, extraction. There are so many things. Feature engineering, it's altogether a different topic in ML. So we don't talk about it. We directly go to AI, and students don't understand when to go for AI. So a lot of mathematical background has to be there. Any linear system cannot go for artificial intelligence. Highly nonlinear systems can go for artificial intelligence. And whenever there cannot be any relation with the input and output, then we feel that there is some relationship, but we don't establish any empirical relationship. Then only one should go for a machine learning and artificial intelligence, if it is a black box case. So these things we are unable to teach at the school level. So we just introduce because some ministry makes it compulsory, and then we go on teaching them. I'm sorry if somebody is hurt, The point is, one has to think from a larger perspective and see what is to be taught. Okay. So my recommendation is, it should not be treated as one subject in computer science. It should be made as a different group where there will be domain experts, because data comes from a domain expert, not from any computer programmer. So it should be a group of a mathematician. It should be programmers will be there, obviously, and then there will be domain experts. Every application needs their domain. When I was in IIT Bombay, I did a project on textiles. So though professors were there in IIT Bombay, my data was coming from Matunga. There was a lab, CTRL, cotton research. So that mission was costing around 7 crores at that time in the 90s. So then I used to daily travel from IIT Bombay to Matunga to collect the data. So data is very costly. And whenever we design any artificial intelligence, I think data should be very cheap, and we have to always go for a cost effectiveness of the data on the whole project. And data management has to be seen, and only domain experts can come out with a proper data, and then accordingly one can develop a project. These things are expected in higher education as far as the way we teach AI or ML.
Point taken, sir. Thank you for sharing your insight. Rupesh sir, would you like to add up to this question? Any comments if you would like to give?
I think let Professor Rajiv Gupta speak. He handles states, country is one of the largest technical university, and perhaps you would like to comment what Professor Desai has said. I am tempted to really speak, but let Professor Gupta speak first.
He is also from IIT Bombay only.
Professor Gupta, if you can share your viewpoints over
the good afternoon, everybody. So what Professor Desai and Professor Bhupesh told, that in our university, what we are going for the curriculum of AI, that generally every student of every branch, wants some courses to be done in the area of AI. So we have two things in our curriculum. One is that we have a major specialization with it is AI or ML with the computer science BTech. So student can go for further 5 courses for become expert in that way, or for other branches like this electrical, electronics, and mechanical. So we have the minor degree kind of thing. This is mechanical with the AI and those things we have already incorporated, and so then a student can do that some courses from computer science mother department, because what Professor Desai was telling, it should be from the mathematics, because I am very much agree, because it's the subject of mathematics. You can evolve the knowledge, and those can be done by the mathematics. When you are strong in the mathematics, you can able to understand what is the AI. And because I am teaching neural networks and fuzzy logic and AI, so I know that to use the AI, you should be quite intelligent to understand how you can use the AI. So once you have done some courses, neural network, because then things are like that. Because it should be dynamic. How you can make the system dynamic means what I understand in the last 30 years, that if you can make a system dynamic, then it can be a use of AI. AI can be used to, even we can use in become a just like coaching, or you can say in paper question paper answering, because based on that AI we can develop there's a set of paper that for the student which interest is that it should come first, and then he is able to give the answers of that area, so he can be more confident to give that examination. So the AI can be used in that way also, because so many things are there. Even you can say in our university, so we have already planned, or we are implementing that way. In a minor degree we are giving to student in the field of AI and computer science, or Python and those things. So we have that provision, so it can be what is the need of today's world, so we are able to do in that way. So it is well appreciated by all you can say our state colleges of our university. Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
You
sir.
spoke my mind, Professor Gupta. In fact, that is the problem which Dr. Desai has said, that this is since a discipline which should be led by mathematician and statistician, right? And then the computer science comes. So this is essentially interdisciplinary program. But fundamentally the structure which is in this country, that it derives from the AICT, it has to really fall into the engineering department. And so the mathematics department left out. So until unless they don't understand even the linear equation, right, and how the linear models and non-linear models functions, and as Professor Desai was telling, that yes, you can really find correlation in any coherent system, but that does not necessarily means a cause effect. And until unless people don't understand fundamentally this stuff, they can really create a wrong AI. So AI can really give you any kind of output, but not necessarily that is actually causing. And that is one of the major challenge in application in education system, because here it can really destroy somebody's life. So until unless you're not very sure about those stuff, you can't really apply.
It should be converged towards the target. Otherwise, if you divert, then it will be useless.
Yeah. So I think that is the one fundamental structural problem in Indian education system, unlike the other Western universities, that it has to really fall the engineering or technology line.
Yeah, to convert a centigrade to Fahrenheit, you don't need any artificial intelligence. Already empirical relations are well established. And so these things mathematicians only can teach the students in a...
I think Bhupesh and Professor, you're absolutely right, because who teaches, how do you create the curriculum, what is the teaching load, how do students get there? These are all administrative problems which universities and colleges have, right? And unfortunately, a lot of us from industry, a lot of people who are not so well versed with the academic thing don't really understand it. And, I think, when I mentioned the whole AICT challenge, and therefore the best solution that I found for most of these courses was to get faculty from outside. And now with this adjunct professorship and all this being available and so many experts being available, you can actually get it in. And, while the new education policy provides for, actually doing a lot of stuff across campuses, but the fee structure and the other thing is not yet put into place, so that there's no clarity there. But I think if the academics get together and you decide that you could actually collaborate, it'll change the face of education going forward.
Very much right.
Thank you,
if
panelists.
I can,
sorry, please.
Yeah, Nira, I just wanted to double click on what Mr. Dilip Shenoy said. There are two things which he talked about. One is catching them young. I think the example which he gave about fiber courses which were introduced in the country, they are relevant even today. Can those courses be introduced early? Can these students start learning about it? And I can give an example where Meta is working with the CBSE to let them teach about AR and VR at a very young age. And why not? We have seen the benefit of our young age, which are much more faster in adopting and learning than, let's say, the old days, if I may use that word. Second one is, yes, where are these teachers who can really teach the new age courses? And many of them are existing, at least the knowledgeable people in the industry. So can we bring the industry experts as panelists, as faculty, and whatever is the academic word behind it, I may not be knowledgeable about it, but get them in and let them talk to the students about what's happening in IoT, what's happening in data science, because industries were the first one to adopt it, as compared to earlier days where something was taught and then industry adopted. Now things are reversing a bit. Many of the new technologies are being adopted by the industry, and hence there are a lot of expertise sitting there. And the third one I would like to say is, maybe we can think of creating use cases with industry expects. And hence there can be very, very good convergence between the academia and the industry. Because industry needs the use cases, students need to understand what the hell AI means in the real sense. It's not about just the bookish knowledge, but if they are able to create something which is useful in the real life, the excitement is much higher. I just wanted to place these points. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mittal. That's very important points that you have raised, that, learning or introducing something into the academia or education is important. But at the same time, the students, or I would say the learners, because today it's not just the students, even the faculties or the teachers who are still into the learning process of adoption of these new technologies that has been adapted by the curriculum. So it's really important from the academia side point of view to understand what actually is happening in the industry, or rather what are the use cases. So you raised a very important point saying that get the experts from the industry. So I would like to extend to that point, asking you, how do you think can the industry collaborate with the academia so that we can bridge the gap between which is existing right now between the academia and the actual use cases of the technologies? That is something that the learners learn in the academia, but when it comes to the practical implementation, there's still some gap. So getting the industry experts will definitely bridge that gap, but that's for a very short duration. So how can it be a long-term process for any institution or any academics or the whole education system, where they are constantly learning what is happening in the industry? Your point on it, Mr. Mittal.
Okay, I know I am in mid of all the esteemed academicians, so I may be teaching to the choir, but let me still make an attempt. So one, there can be study boards which can be created, which is a mix of academics and the industry experts. And that's working in some of the cases. I am in one of these board of studies in one of the university. Because then you are able to, and let me give a real example. I challenged to the board on that day that whatever you are teaching, many of those are not needed in the industry. Let it digest for some time. It took some shake up, but yes, that's a fact. Unless in the resumes of the students, you have these words like data science, data analytics, AI, IoT, blockchain, that resume itself does not even get picked up. So it's important that we need to start talking about these things in the industry. So my suggestion on the table is, can there be more board of studies created whereby the industries and the academics come together as part of creating the curriculum? Second one, which I already said, the challenge will be how do you get the experts to speak on these technologies? That also then can be fulfilled by really getting the visiting faculty from the industry. They may not follow the academia curriculum way, but they can give really an industry perspective as to what the industry needs, how are they using it. And one of the best comment I got once I was interacting with a bunch of students of data science and AI, and they said today when we gave them the industry perspective, they said today it looks like we are able to make sense of what we are studying, because we know then how will that hit in the industry. So I think once we are able to bridge this gap between what industry needs, some use cases, and students are able to develop those use cases, fantastic. Third one, if I may, I think Bhupesh covered it beautifully. The way he himself is using these AI technologies to be introduced in education, can those be introduced by the students itself? That becomes a use case for the students to touch and feel. That becomes a use case for the faculty member to touch and feel what really AI or data science or ML can do. So these are the three things I will say. Create more use cases in the campuses. Students can have a touch and feel. Get more industry bodies and representatives on the board of the studies for the universities, and a bit more open to getting the visiting faculty from the industry, even if it means it is not a very structured course. It takes time. Let it be just free flow discussions with the industry experts.
So let me add one point. Mr. Satish is very correct in the sense, very recently UGC has come out with an option of appointing professors of practice, that we call it as POP.
Yeah,
So 10% of the whole faculty can be a professor of practice. Qualification is not required for him. Only the expertise in his field, something around more than 20 years of experience, he can become professors of practice. So instead of going for visiting, you can appoint him as a full-time professor, and UGC has an approval for that. So in that way also we can bring people from the industry and help the education industry.
Fantastic point, sir.
Ms. Moshi, would you like to?
Yes.
Okay, so my next question to you would be, what do you think should be the key skills that should be developed for students and faculties, since we're talking a lot about AI and, in academia? So according to you, what do you think are the key skills should be developed in the coming future be it for the students or for the faculties?
If I may, I have some comments on what Satish ji was suggesting. We have at the Ministry of Skill Development, we have done a similar experiment wherein we have around 37 sector skill councils. Dilip sir understands this ecosystem very well, the skilling ecosystem. We have 37 sector skill councils who basically one of their job is also to design curriculum with industry validation. So, and now we've also started introducing microcredits. So we understand that now with the technology skill shelf life is very small. It's somewhere around 2 to 3 years at the max. So the idea of upskilling and adding on microcredits so that the candidates can learn new skills sooner. So what we are doing there is we have also introduced on-the-job training. So a part of our curriculum talks about theoretical lessons, post which we align candidates or trainees with industry partners, wherein they go to the industry unit or industry experts come to them. And it's a very open-ended kind of training that happens. We have not really defined say qualification, the occupational standards or the credits that needs to be done while doing the on-the-job training. So it is completely on the industry as to what they want to deliver to the students in order to align very well with that particular qualification pack. So this is one of the experiments that we have done. I mean, it's not an experiment, it's now an ongoing thing. So this is one aspect. And to your question, Nidaji, so AI, the beauty of AI is that it is sector and functionality agnostic. So it can be very well modified and attached to different sectors. And when we talk about specific skills, even when we work on, so there's a lot of emphasis on evidence-based policymaking. Wherein, for instance, I'll give you an example. At the ministry, there is an initiative called the Skill Hub Initiative, where we are basically using the infrastructure available with schools and colleges and providing skill development training in those infrastructures. So the idea was to basically understand what is the student sentiments and what do they feel about the Skill Hub initiative, whether it is useful, because it was a very pilot program for a couple of months. So the data analytics that we used for it played a very important role in understanding the sentiments of the students, in understanding what are the term co-occurrences, whether the students For instance, the biometric is happening properly or not. I mean, what is the difference between a skill hub initiative? What are the benefits of a skill hub initiative in comparison to our flagship scheme of Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana for that matter? So, and this is one aspect. The other aspect is also now what is happening with our sector skill councils is the courses that they are designing. They are trying to embed data analytics and big data aspects into those courses. For instance, recently we had, so we are the line ministry for management sector skill council. They had sent us a qualification pack for CSR management. There also they had introduced aspects of data analysis. So which is very beautiful. They're trying to, so data analytics is also entering the non-natural science domain. So, I mean, this is what I believe is the way forward as well.
Okay, great. Bhupesh sir, would you like to add anything to that? Or I have another interesting question. So
I think Malsri has completed. Please throw that.
So we've been talking about introducing a lot of new skill set, the various ways, the various age groups at which the AI and these skill set are being introduced at the academia level. But still, what do you think to deliver this? What do you think would be the challenges to deliver AI skills and education in the academic setup? So we can start with Bhupesh sir. Would you like to answer this first?
So I think briefly, Dr. Desai and we have covered that what are the challenges is going to be in terms of imparting skills and education setup. And one of the major challenge currently and in future is going to be about who is going to deliver these curriculum, right? So you can really hire the experts, you can set up the committee, you can use AI to design the curriculum, you can keep on changing, but at the end of the day, machine cannot deliver. It's a human is going to deliver, right? So all this while we were thinking that yes, MOOC platforms can really teach at mass scale. Yes, they're doing good job, but universities need real professors. They need to really teach real curriculum, and they need to hold hands of the student in terms of really applying those technology. Theory I can really learn on MOOC platform, but what about the projects, right? Wherein they have to really touch and feel. And that's where the major challenge is. The new education policy, the Python will come at 6th grade. Now, my estimation that will require roughly around 10 million teachers need to be trained on Python. We don't have even thousands, right? So we have a large base. The good part is, so this is the challenging part. The good part is that you already have a very strong base of faculty, those who understand mathematics, right? We have a large pool of faculty, those who understand code, right? And I remember when we started the India's first data science program 2015, not a long time back. That time there were roughly around 35 to 45 data scientists and AI engineers in this country. Today, India has become world's largest AI engineers and data scientist producers across the world, right? So Indians are adaptable, money motivates us, and technology does not intimidate, right? So both things are true for Indians. So we can easily learn the new code language, and the mathematics is already in our DNA, right? We have one of the best statistical institutions, including ISI, right? So we can really reorient, retrain the existing faculties, right? And that's where these faculty training institutions, right? MOOC platforms can really play a big role. We have also run a lot of faculty training programs, trained hundreds of faculties, and they're still training. And I think that is going to be the major piece. And then other pieces could be the technology, could be the association with the industry, right? And those aspects has already been covered. But primarily the faculty, and the second piece, you need to have very robust digital platform, which can really connect most of the dots. Because if you have to really augment the capability of machine, humans, you need machine. And for this scale of a large country, you're not talking about Canada or Russia or maybe UK, right? You're talking about country which has got which produces every year engineers bigger than Dubai's population, right? So we have to really think about the scalable model.
So adding to what you've said, definitely highlighted the point of scalability. So we are talking about institutions that are adapting to the new skill sets. So, but one institution or few institute cannot make it to the global level. So how do you think can the different academic institute collaborate with each other to build a scalable AI entire deliverable model? Because just few institute in it will not make a change. It is the entire system or the all the institution need to come together to build a really scalable model. So your take on it, Professor Rajiv.
What I can think that because every teacher faculty has to fill the API score every year, means it is necessary for the promotion or next scale like that. If UGC or AICT can come out and they can made the part of this 10-20 marks for skilling of in the field of AI or ML, then everyone can go for that type of courses, because it is very much needed, because AI and this is coming to each and every, not for engineering, even social life and everywhere. So if UGC or UGC can give the panelist where the student the faculty can go for these type of courses, then it will be some meaningful, because the so many courses are I have seen that so many universities are organizing AI ML courses, but if you attend, and then you can able to know that they are just doing the formality, but the real sense of what Mr. Satish Mittal told, that the expert should be from who have used or either from the industry. So the AICT or UGC can make the panelist. These are the people or expertise in this area, then you can use, or then it can be a meaningful, because the big, if you are taking the knowledge from the big experts, then you can update your knowledge. If somebody the faculties, or you can say they are teaching giving the just FDPs or faculty development program, then it may not be so meaningful, because we have what Bhupesh has told, that we have so many, the India is known for data and this so you can say in AI also we were very good in ancient time and that way, because if you read any Gita, and then the meaning of that one is towards this, because that the first chapter of that Gita is this you can say that life should be stable. What is mean with the Hindi? They will the buddhi sthir honi chahiye. So what do we mean by that? Everything should be converse. So the AI can help to converge each and every goal. What I understand that way, because so knowledge, so much data is there, but you have to use the AI to get the meaning, what the data you require, and make go towards the output. So I can think that way. It will a part of their the appraisal report or like that. Then it can be a good way to implement for the faculty. Then when faculty is you can say expert become, they have some expertise, then they can able to teach the students in a right way. What I think.
Thank you, sir. Dilip sir, you had to say something.
Yeah, I think we just been through COVID, right? Where every education institution was on a digital mode, right? And I believe that we should not lose the learnings and the digital connectivity that we have had here. And we also have the platform called Swayam. And of course, then in the NSDC you have digital NSDC, and you have the whole future skills program under the NASCOM SSC, the ITS SSC, right? And you can actually look at creating a whole system of digital learning. And Bhupesh also said you need machines, where you teach students, but theory and all something you can actually teach online. So a blend of digital, right, and other aspects could be looked at it. And I think Professor Rajiv Gupta's point about it being included in API scores, fundamentally actually not even be included in the API score. It should be a basic prerequisite to even add 1 point to the API score. So you can look at it in a different way, and we have to think literally out of the box here to scale very quickly. As a country, we don't have the luxury of time. Our entire IT and this whole leadership and different leadership that is actually happening in sectors is going to be challenged if we don't, quickly execute this at scale and speed immediately.
Thank you, sir, for your insight on that. I think we have majorly covered all the AI points. How can AI skilling be done? How can teachers be trained? How can major skills be delivered in the education sector? How can we bridge the gap between? So one final question to all the panelists. You can take a quick take on this, as we are also restricting to the time domain. We have 5 minutes left to end the panel discussion. So my last question to each of the panelists would be, how India can lead its way to become an AI skill and education hub? So I would want to start with Dr. Jagannath Desai, sir. Panelists, a quick take on this, as we have limited time. So if you can please limit it.
Desai, your mic is mute.
You're mute. Professor Desai, you're on mute.
Dr. Jagannath Desai, you're
Yeah. Right now I'm audible. My only final point is, it should not be taken or taught as a course. AI can never be a topic, can never be a subject like. It should be considered as a project.
Yeah.
It is a 100% case of a project-based learning. Because so many things are involved. So starting from data to the design of a model, it takes a lot of time. And students can understand the basics of AI, or they get more interest to work in the AI industry, provided he understands, so what is AI? And AI can be understood, or ML can be understood only when you work with a particular application. The student should be given a domain, and they have to collect the data, and they have to apply the data, and they have to design the model. Designing also takes a lot of time. Training also takes a lot of time. Most of the applications need thorough training. There is learning we call data. The network learns with the data. So data is so important. There is nobody to train the data, train the network. Data itself will train the network most of the times. So students can only understand if it is taken as a project rather than a subject for getting 40 marks and all that. So that is my final say. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Satish Mittal, would you like to add?
I just wanted to give a slightly different perspective as well. Whatever so far we have talked about is how do we create a supply of data engineers, AIs, experts, etc., starting from school curriculum. That's great. To the point that can we make India as a global hub of these? Then I would really start thinking about the demand side as well. That one, Indian industries can absorb that much, but can we think of, just like we did 20 years back, India became the factory, the world's factory for BPO and KPO. Can we be the knowledge factory for these new age skill set for the world? The engineers can be sitting in the country, but delivering those services for the companies outside. It is a well-known knowledge today that engineering talent from India is well respected. You go across the campuses of Apple, Meta, Amazon, and Google, and you will see engineers all over. So let's leverage that we are now well respected as an engineering talent. Can we create the pool of these new tech engineering courses and bodies which can be really used by the companies outside? Just wanted to place that point as well on the demand side, not just the supply side.
Thank you, sir, for your take. Professor Rajiv Gupta.
Yeah. In this regard, we should make the social engineering project as Professor Jagannath Desai told like that. So if you will make compulsory the social engineering project, so it will require the data, it will require the skills and all those things. So the student can understand some social problem, able to complete use of AI it can be. So the what knowledge he is getting, he can be what knowledge he is getting from the BTech or this curriculum, then he can able to create the knowledge in terms of innovation and research, then it can be the meaningful. This is
Ms.
from my
Moore.
side.
Yes, thank you, sir, for your take on that. Mr. Dilip Shenoy, sir, would you like, what would be your take on it?
No, I think between the professors and Satish, they've covered it all. But, I think principally curriculum, faculty, projects, and, to all the engineering colleges and to all the universities and all, if you can say that your internship should actually be on data science or machine learning or artificial intelligence projects in the industry that you go in, right? That would actually create a lot of use cases going forward. And we need a huge national effort in putting this from class X to PhD, and from size of a 2-person firm to a 200,000 or 600,000 person firm. How do you actually get this in, as a national project? And very quickly, it's very important. We need the data protection bill very, very quickly, because if we don't have that in place, then all of this data that we have and all of that, we can't use it the way we want to use it going forward.
Thank you for your take, sir. Ms. Malshri Kanodia, ma'am,
my-
points on it.
Sure. My take on the question is that, first of all, we need to break institutional silos with respect to training in artificial intelligence first. Second, very important thing is the involvement of industry while developing curriculums. I mean, we need to really go beyond regulators and see how can we really design microcredits and smaller courses for upskilling, which is owned by the industry, essentially. So this will, I believe, will go a long way in making India the superpower of AI. Thank you.
Mr. Bhupesh, sir, your take on it?
I think we are already in the league. So we are among top 3 countries into AI race. And why it is so important that AI economy is going to be $15 trillion economy, which is going to be roughly 5 times where we stand. So it is like a 16th century. So if India has to really place a contribution from 3%, mere 3% to 15%, way back in 16th century, we need to really jump on the AI. And there is no other way. And the good part about AI that it influences almost every industry, be it telecom, healthcare, education, IT, manufacturing, everything. So India has a huge scope because we have the largest population base. We are going to really beat China. We're generating tons of data, and any AI model needs data. So we have data, and Dilip sir rightly said that yes, we need to really protect the data so that yes, we can really leverage on that data, because data is the oil, and that oil is unfortunately leaking through Google and Facebook and so many other channels. So there has to be national level consensus, right? So at a national level, there is no policy. It's a fragmented lot of list services. Sorry for my harsh words, but it has to come into the DNA of the national policy maker that this is very important, and this is not a subdomain of computer science, which most of the academicians and the policy makers are hugely flawed. It cannot be just like a BE computer science, BE AI. This is the mistake, a gross mistake policymakers are making. But if we really break those silos, and most of the panelists have given the input, yes, India can be a leader, and we can really increase our per capita income. We can really grow exponentially, and it can really have a huge impact on the nation building. And I'm really hopeful for that.
Thank you, sir. And thank you each of the panelists for sharing your expert opinions about onto this panel discussion. I once again thank each one of you for giving your time to this panel discussion and sharing your deep and expert opinions onto each and every topic and question that has been discussed over here. So we've covered a huge range of questions, be it from what should be the skills developed, the industry collaboration, how the teachers and the students will be upskilling and giving them the insight, and how can they be made to work on the real data. So once again, we come to the end to this panel discussion. I sincerely thank each one of you for coming and giving your time. Thank you very much, everybody, for this panel discussion.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
Dilip
so
sir.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Satish ji,
much.
Monica
Thank you very
ji,
much.
Dr. Gupta,
Thank you
Dr.
all.
Desai. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
So moving further, we have a small demonstration on, we have AI and data science lab. Yes, Anita ma'am.
No,
Anita ma'am, over to you. Over to you, Anita ma'am.
Thank you, Nida. Thank you for that wonderful panel discussion. So we have a demo now by a student, Ms. Vrati Bansod. She's a student of IIT School of Data Science, and this demo would be on resume parsing. So Vrati, over to you. Is Vrati ready with the demo?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can start.
Thank you, ma'am, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. The topic of my project is resume parsing. So in this project, I would be passing .pdf and .docs format resume files, and after passing the resume, we would be extracting the required information. So I have divided the project into two parts. First, we are giving .pdf and .docs files as input resume to extract the data to a spacey transformer model, through which I would be extracting names and saving the data. The same resume files are being given input to the Pyrus parser library, after which the contact information are being extracted, and both the data are then merged to a final data frame. So the libraries I have used here are Spacey Transformer, Spacey Library, PyPDF2, Python Docs, RE module, Pyrus Parser Library, and Pandas Library. I'll just quickly run through the code. So first, the first part is, here we are taking resume files as input. So here I have taken this resume file as my input. The same input is being given in docs format. Once the input is given, I am extracting the names of the candidates. So So finally, we are getting the name of the candidate and we are assigning them the user IDs. This is the first part. The second part is where we are extracting the contact details. The same resume are being given as input, after which we are getting contact details with the help of Pyrus Parser library and the skills. Once both of these details are obtained, we are then combining the data to get the final output, which looks like this. And the application of this project is that we can recommend jobs to the candidates based on their skills. Thank you.
Thank you, Vrati. So we again have a demonstration based on a project which is on Aadhaar data extraction and authentication and masking, again by the students of Aegis School of Data Science. This is done by Aegis AI and DS Lab. So I would again now request the students Pratik Patil, Pratik Chaudhary, Nitesh Singh and Vipul Shinde to really start with their presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the introduction. So, guys, I will be taking you, I will be presenting today with my project, with our project of other data extraction, authentication, and masking. So, here is a brief flow of our project, like what all steps we'll be following to get the final output and to store the data that has been extracted and verified from the Aadhaar card. So my colleague Pratik Chaudhary will take you through this flowchart, and I will be then demonstrating a small demo of how it is done using the codes. Okay, over to you, Pratik.
Thank you so much. So hi everyone, greetings for the day. So here we will go through the process of our Aadhaar card extraction and authentication. So first we will be asking user to upload his or her Aadhaar image or PDF file. Then the file will be processed and passed through the image refinement techniques for noise reduction and age detection. Then the region of interest will be cropped from the image and will be passed to the feature detection and ELA analysis. Here we will begin with our first stage of verification by detecting emblem, Government of India symbol and QR code present on our Aadhaar card. If the extracted features are greater than or equal to 2, we will say that Aadhaar has passed the first stage of verification and the image will be passed to the OCR for text extraction. If the user image is not readable by OCR, the user will be directed to re-upload the image. And from the readable image, the extracting features will be done by the OCR libraries. So we'll be extracting the features like name, gender, date of birth, and Aadhaar number. If the after extracting the Aadhaar number, the UID will be given to the Verops algorithm. If the Aadhaar is verified by the algorithm, then we can say that it is a valid Aadhaar card. Then the valid Aadhaar card image will be processed for masking and will be stored in our database. So the further implementation will be explained to you by Pratik Patil. So over to you, Pratik.
Thank you, Pratik. Um, so I will just take you through the code. So here we have installed first the required libraries. The main one being the Tesseract PyTesseract library. Should I share my screen? Sorry guys for the interruption. I think there was a network issue at my end. So I will continue. So here after extracting the information from our other data, as you can see, it's in the crude format. Like there are special symbols as well as some undetected text is also there. After we will be passing it, we'll be cleaning it through the function we have predefined it. As you can see here, it is in the form of dictionary. It is a structured format. Here you can see the Aadhaar number as well. And if you want, we can store this information in the form of a text or a JSON file or any other format. So this is the first part of our project. So next part is verifying the Aadhaar number, whether that Aadhaar number is authentic or not. And then if it's authentic, then we will be masking it as per the RBI guidelines. So what exactly Waroff's algorithm is? Actually, the Aadhaar number is a combination of 11 digits first, and the 12 digit is being something is the output of the checksum of the as per the Virchow algorithm. So not going into details of that algorithm, but let's check for the demonstration purpose. Here I have passed my Aadhaar number, which is original Aadhaar number. The checksum is given as 0. So it quantifies that it is a original Aadhaar number. When giving a fake Aadhaar number, it will give the checksum will not be a 0. It will be any other number as per the algorithm, and it will just tell us that it's not an original Aadhaar number. Okay, so we will ask the user to again upload the authentic Aadhaar card. Okay, so again, so here let's come to a demonstration purpose. So here I am importing the same Aadhaar image that was used first. As here you can see, it has detected this Aadhaar number on my Aadhaar card. Once it has detected, we will be masking that Aadhaar card, and we will then store that Aadhaar card in our system or in the database. So why masking is important? As per RBI guidelines of 2019, masking is mandatory to all institutions who are storing our confidential data, so that in case of leak, our confidential data is not available to miscreants in the society. So this is why masking is important. And the scope of this project, we can extend this to any kind of data, like any kind of document, may it be a PAN card, driving license, or your passport, or any other educational document. You can extend this project to any kind of data. And and this wide digital KYC and these digital technologies, AI-based technologies are being used for these purposes. The main benefit is that a huge amount of time is being saved using these techniques, and also the efficiencies, as our naked eyes cannot detect whether it's a original or a fake ID. But using AI, the technology is been so developed now. With the error level analysis, you can detect whether you have someone has forged this document or not, or it's a authentic document. So that's it for today's demo, guys. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Pratik, and all others for this presentation. I would now again like to invite Ms. Nida Parker, the professor at IIT School of Data Science, to take over with the next panel discussion, which is on application of AI in education and learning. So, Nida, over to you. Nida, are you there? Nida, can you hear me? So meanwhile, Nida is connecting. I would like to introduce the panelist. So we have the first panelist for the panel discussion on application of AI in education and learning, Dr. Abhijit Gangopadhyay, the Dean, Aegis School of Data Science, Founder Dean of IIM Indore, former Dean, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, and former professor of XLRI. The second panelist in this panel discussion would be Commodore Dr. Jadumani Jaina. He is the Chief Advisor at MUNI campus and the former CEO of Telecom Sector Skill Council. We also have Dr. Ashish Tendulkar, the Machine Learning Architect at Google, and Dr. Srinivas R. Iyengar, who is the Director at JBIMS. So I welcome you all to this panel discussion. I would request Ashish sir if you can just put on the video.
Thank you, ma'am,
Yes,
for the brief introduction. Sorry, I had a slight technical glitch.
No problem.
So first of all, I would extend my warm welcome to all the panelists for this panel discussion on AI and data science, applications of AI and data science in education. Now, I also request all the panelists to turn on their cameras. Thank you, panelists. So we've been talking about AI, data science, and it's been buzzing around all over. So the entire education system is being transformed in today's days around AI and data science. So in this panel discussion, we would like to discuss about what are the different applications of AI that can be used in the education domain. So now the education domain revolves around, the learning of the candidates to the entire journey of, where they actually do the real-time application or get into the job. So our panel discussion would be around these points. So my first question to Dr. Abhijit Gangopadhyay sir would be, sir, how can we have applications of AI from, from course design to the admission to the final job? So I would not take it at all once. So let me take up the first question. So how can AI be used in design in doing a course design, and what would be the challenges in doing that? So Dr. Abhijit Gangopadhyay sir, the question for you, sir.
So thank you, madam, and welcome to all my fellow colleagues. It is a wonderful thing to discuss about AI and its use in terms of education sectors. Actually, it is a because I think education sectors is suffering from one of the lacuna from my own experiences, that it was not machine driven, or it was purely mechanical, and there are a lot of discretionary things in terms of the academic world. I think now this one need to be structured. So for example, right now you have seen the CAT, and I think very recently, I think 2-3 days back, GRE scores, the results are now getting circulated, and because this is an admission session. Now, what is happening? Almost all the places, this unless it is automated, it will be very difficult to process such huge data. So, for example, if I go by my own assumptions, say if anybody gets a GRE score of 330 and above, automatically he can be segregated. I think what is exactly can be done is that if you do it humanly, there's a lot of biases. I think the alarming rate by which education sector is suffering in terms of inability to process huge data. If it comes to NEET, if it comes to JEE, it comes to CAT, ZAT, I think all these cases, I think since I was made to a part of this process, I have seen how much education sector lacks. As a teacher, and I think nothing but a teacher, because my other colleagues are most, say, Commander Jana and others, having a lot of practical experiences. I don't have any. But I got, as a teacher, I actually modified or redefined myself when I entered in a system when entire academic portal was automated and it was purely data driven. Say, and that actually made very interesting. So, for example, when I think about days in which it is very alarming, So, for example, we used to take classes. I think we are capable of taking sessions. I happened to be in many institutes as a guest faculty, regular faculty, professor, but I was not knowing what is happening. I had been a part of an academic faculty of an institution I don't want to name. What was happening those days, the mobile has entered into the academic world. So all the students used to come. At the end of the day, I think entire chat of the students were captured and it was displayed. Now the question is that none of them was attending, and that was actually made all of us to shift ourselves from PPT teaching to conversant mode, the conventional mode, chalk and talk. Now this is possible only when, because we are trying to analyze the data. My dear, I think my colleagues will agree that education sector without applications of the data analytical methodology is absolutely defunct. So I have my, I think KBIMS director is there, and I used to be a faculty, regular faculty there, because one of my esteemed guru was the director at that time. Very interesting. I think most of the time we were getting alienated from the system, and I think it's an urgent need to apply. And I find that there's a huge potential of such platforms like MUNI providing to apply in terms of educational sector. I think, thank you, Professor Nida. It's very interesting that we are arranging such a talk. At least I don't know who is serious in terms of participants, but teachers will be serious, and I think that will be a success of academic sectors. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your brief insight. So we've spoken about the curricular designing. Now, the entire process from admission to job placement is an important process for any student in the as a student's life cycle. So how can we use now admissions? It's already the changes have been from the paper admissions. It has come to the online platform. So how can AI be used for the admission process? So Commodore Dr. Jadumani Jena, sir, if you would like to give your insight on that.
Okay, thank you very much for giving this opportunity to participate in this webinar. So the question is that how you can use the admission process, how AI can be used in the admission process. See, what is it? If you go to the basic, what is AI basically? The AI is basically an interface technology between the human being and the decision maker. Human being and others. Okay, be it a machine, be it a process, or be it an activity. How AI facility interfaces with the human being. Okay, so that means, as Bhupesh has initially said, so this is the technology behaves in a human manner, or as a man behaves. You have to capture all those. So that means it becomes an interface, or what you call it in a natural system, a middleman. This is a middleman who interfaces one party to the other party. So similarly here, when a student comes for looking for a course, particular course and all, so you track him when he is surfing the net, because this is the commonplace. Net surfing is a commonplace where he searches what are the courses there, what is the ratings, how others behave, and all those things he is searching, looking for that. So that is the time you have to capture him. And now you study the pattern, how he is behaving, what is he looking for, and what he is actually looking and what he should be looking, and analyze that pattern and project him what is the best possible available in the network for him. Okay, that may be a course curriculum in a college, or can be any other related subject. Perhaps he is looking in a wrong place. So all those things can be projected to him, and so that guide him to the right decision-making process. So at the end of it, that is the human being who is looking for to make a decision. So this AI can be used for aiding his decision-making to choose a particular course.
So well said, Commander Dr. Jadamani Jana sir. We can analyze the patterns of what data has been searched by the candidate. Based on that, we can understand what are their likes and dislikes. So using this, you can definitely give them suggestions on what they would be good at or interested in. So my next question is, okay, we've been talking about the admission process or the course development for a student. Now AI can also be used to understand a student's learning outcome or a student's performance and optimizing it. So Mr. Bhupesh Dharia sir, what is your take on it? How can we use AI to understand the pattern or the learning outcome of a student in any course that he has enrolled in?
I think like there are already well-established models are there. The only thing what AI brings on top of that existing traditional method is that it brings a scale, and it also helps you to reduce down the biases. Right? So learning outcome can be, you can define from academic point of view, and you can also take it from the point of view, the employability, right? So if industry, let's say if somebody is studying artificial intelligence, will this guy will become a AI engineer in company or not, right? In academic setup, while he's studying artificial intelligence, now the artificial intelligence could be flag terminology, but within that you will be teaching them stats, linear algebra, machine learning, deep learning, and each course will have its own course outcome, which need to be measured. And measurement could be done by structured examination model or assessment models. And these could be, say, Viva, these could be, say, multiple choice questions or subjective questions, or say, interviewing or case-based or project-based. Now, the question comes that how these, say, learning outcome can be scaled and you can infuse the AI. So let's say in places like a Coursera, when millions of students are studying, right? And now you have also universities in India, you have universities where 25, 30,000 students are studying, and for that matter, even Mumbai University. Now, can you really do the assessment at each topic level at 800 colleges in Bombay and millions of students are studying? The answer is logistically, it's a nightmare. It's not possible, right? But today, fortunately, everybody having the mobile phone in their home hand. And we have seen during the COVID that how online assessment methods backed up with the AI can really play a role. It can play a role on two terms. One, creating the pool of questions, right? Which will be mapped, of course, with the learning outcome and what has been taught. The second is dissemination, right? And the third aspect is, of course, to reduce down the cheating, right? And that's where the AI plays role on all these three aspects. One, creating the repository of the question bank or battery. The second is dissemination, right? Because you have varying mobile, the internet bandwidth, right? How and based on the candidate device, the system should be able to really adopt, right? If people, and the third aspect is cheating, and that's where I gave the example that AI is very powerful in terms of really capturing your pictures, videos, taking your collecting the behavioral data, and can really flag out whether you are doing impersonation, whether you're the same person or somebody else. Even if you say share your password, it will be able to really detect. If somebody is standing behind your laptop, you're likely to look like this, right? Or your gesture will change. And AI at scale can really detect those stuff, right? And one of the instance, again, I would like to narrate that while we were conducting the examination for Goa University, there was an instance that the girl started the test at 10 o'clock. Of course, her gender was a female, and 10:15 her gender changed to male. And the location from Panji, it changed to Delhi. The IP address changed, and immediately our system gave a flag and we had to block her. Now, humanly, it is not possible because thousands of candidates are appearing. And sometimes humanly, it is not even possible while we are conducting the paper and pen examination, right? And the invigilator is right there standing like a helicopter on your head. Still, smart people do the cheating. So AI at scale can really help you reduce down the cheating. It can help you to really create multiple formats of assessment, which essentially will be linked with the learning outcome. So that's what my take is.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insight. So since we're talking about student life and how can AI be used for in education for overlooking the entire education system. So my next question to you is Dr. Srivasan sir. So my next question to you would be, since we're dealing with humans, it is not very easy to trace or learn the human behavior, and we are dealing with lakhs and crores of students over here. So what, according to you, would be the challenges in modeling the student learning?
Very wonderful question. Thanks for this. AI is going to be the future. The reason why I'm saying you this, last 15 days, another 10 days, almost a period of 3 weeks, I'm going to almost 7 conferences, 5 conferences on AI and ML. So that is industry moving. We are moving certain trends. That's why everywhere conference theme is running around that. So there is going to be the future. But one thing I find very interesting, I don't know whether other academicians would share your views. During COVID, everybody moved into complete online, LMS, MOOC, you name anything we got. Once if we come to online to offline, because we are strongly believe ideally should be hybrid mode, we should get into hybrid because online has certain advantage. There is no doubt about it. Sometimes our certain program has uniqueness, like part-time MBA from Bajaj. Students are working professional, they can, attendance is improved, everything is fine. But now we move to offline. If we want to make hybrid, the system doesn't allow us. It is something like, again, are we going to back to square one? I don't know. Everybody now saying offline, now they are not entertaining online as the, as the model. Students are asking, sir, can we be able to hybrid lectures? Can we be able to make online? So the technology adaptation, when you talk about human being, human touch, especially on the certain, every program has a unique positioning, unique program of customers. And there is no second thought. AI will bring business not only to academia. You tell me any one industry doesn't benefit out of AI. Difficult. In fact, I still remember one of the recent case study I was going through that, Ant Financial, it is a part of Alipay. Before COVID, when it was started, and today it is 150 billion turnover. And they are doing only wealth management. And the product what they are having, the customer base, any of the US bank, 10 times higher than the customer transaction, that volume Alipay, Ant Financial Asset. And when you talk about the number of people who is working, 1/10 of the industry. Now you are talking one more issues now. Again, for example, this is more productive. When you talk about manpower, absolutely 1/10 of it. But what will be the future we are going to talk about? Today, if we talk about Ant Financial, today, can you name anything without AI? AI factory, we call it. Today, if we talk about Uber, Ola, or any pricing or ticketing, everywhere that analytics is happening, every platform today. You go to shopping, to retail, to airline ticketing, to everywhere. If we talk about all our connected with your external, that talk about insights, customer insights, choices, what you are having it, because this will become unique proposition strategy to the businesses. And how are you going to talk about the workflows? It is completely killing the existing work structure. Today, I can give the loan approval within a fraction of a minute. where I require 5 different levels in the mediums are removed, including salespeople, customer service, loan deck document, not required. This is going to create something new. But my question here, if you are going to do that, what is the initial return on investment, especially in academia? Because sometimes what we do, we try to teach basic. In fact, I'm getting a I'm getting a request from the industries. Sir, can we get your students on AI enabled, we have MSc Finance. Can we get the students who are already knows about AI on predictive analysis, how the investments happens? And my course doesn't give that much bandwidth to teach. Now the question comes, can we have some IT technology people like AGs to come and support us? Then they will say the amount what they give. How I'm going to balance? Can I pay the visiting faculty amount or can I pay technology? What is my break even? And students need it, end of the day. So I'm telling you, it's a very triangle, situation it is. A customer is always trying to accept the technology as Jadumani has said. Customer will love to see the product, whether in the form of AI or MI because of penetration of mobile, and they make works easier, and they give something new learning from the conventional learning to new processes, and industry also needs it. It doesn't mean that industry doesn't want. Industry needs it. You go to any industry. Today, people are saying the conventional jobs are dying. Even if you go marketing, people are talking about predictive analysis of consumer engagement.
Thank you, sir.
But in teaching, I'm finding it difficult. How am I going to balance it ROI? Because the one side investments are high, faculties are high, but faculty doesn't have capability to teach the new courses when industry wanted. That's what this type of conferences at least help us. Panel discussion will help us to try to connect the dot, right?
Thank you, sir. Point taken. Very well elaborated. So we also have Dr. Ashish Tendulkar, sir, joining us for the panel discussion. We welcome you, sir, onto this panel discussion. So Ashish, sir, is an expert in the field of machine learning. So again, my question to you, sir, would be, same question I would like to point towards you also, since we are dealing with humans and not machines or data points here in the learning management system, are they actual students or humans? How do we get the learning outcome, or how do we analyze that data? Because understanding the student behavior patterns is a difficult task, and we've been able to analyze the data through what they have been accessing through what they have been scrolling or visiting sites. But when it actually comes to recommending them jobs or today I think in the young candidates, 2 months back they want to be something, after 2 months they change their mind and want to be something else. So how do we deal with this problem? Over to you, Ashish, sir.
Yeah, so change is the natural process that drives us humans, right? I mean, our interests change. But one of the good thing, right, which AI is enabling is what is called as stress-free exams, right? Earlier days, right, whenever you say exams, people are quite stressed, students are quite stressed. They're being evaluated and things like that. With AI, we can do more of a silent evaluation, because we are evaluating students throughout. It's a continuous evaluation, and that evaluation is happening subtly without them actually going through the evaluation. So I would say this is the more important point in my opinion, because now there is no exam pressure. Students can basically just be relaxed, do their work. As long as they are doing their work sincerely, AI system can actually provide them with feedback about where they are going wrong. And it's also like a personalized tutor, which is very hard to give, let's say, if you're conducting massive online classes. But this kind of personal AI can also act as a personal tutor, where it can point out what are the gaps in understanding and help you fill those gaps. So I think this personalized tutoring experience, identifying gaps in learnings, and this implicit or continuous evaluation. I think these are very important points in my opinion. And that will basically drive the experience, next generation experience with AI. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for your insight on that. So I would like to move away to the next. I mean, we've been revolving around the student life and AI in the students' outcome and performance. Now, I would like to move that today there is very much need to analyze the data that we already have. Today, we really need to analyze what are the job roles that are available, how many job roles are available in which region, and accordingly, maybe we can guide the students to take up the specific skill sets or, divert them to those job roles. But these lot of data has been remaining unanalyzed. So how can we go about analyzing this data? Because it is really the need of the hour to analyze the data that we already have collected so that we can provide equal opportunities to a lot of candidates, because there are a lot of skill sets that are being generated and there are no job available for those skill sets. So we really need to tell and tame the young minds, where these are the possible options. So how can we really work on analyzing the huge amount of data? Dr. Gangopadhyay, sir, would you like to take that question? That we already have a bulk of data collected, but analyzing part is not done, wherein we did not get to understand the real day scenario or status of the available jobs.
No, but I think since the currently data pertaining to job is very important to be collected by everyone, because unlike the earlier situation when we were students, actually it was not very carefully planned, because we never thought of a job. We used to think about what could be the learning outcome for attending a course. But today it's basically very well driven. The people are, and I think academic world is also getting. I think I agree with Dr. Srinivasan when he says that today our resources are meager, and moreover, everybody wants placement. I think, so for example, days were there when there were 2 management institutes in this country, and they were, I think, one of them was JBIMS, and other was, I think, any other institute. There is an institute in Calcutta, but things are totally different now. After coming to IIMs and other things, I have seen that people are absolutely data driven. So they also really work on where exactly they can be placed and where exactly their focus is. So it is wonderful to get this should give an opportunity to all academic institutions to divert their attention from non-descriptive method of placement to a descriptive method of placement. Say, I can say with some amount of confidence, I used to be a placement coordinator for in some part of my life, many institutes, and where I used to charge people, industry, to come to my campus and get the fees from them. Now, the same institutions are now reaching to industry, and they are giving us GAN, where your people are inadequate in these following areas. Could that I was associated with many of the so-called Indian privy institutes are really not privy institutes. But I think they were asking us, sir, it is required. They were my students. They used to tell me or tell our institute that these are the specific skills we required. Fortunately, what has happened, I think I have been associated with MUNI and Aegis for some time. I know Mr. Bhupesh has already constructed an AI-driven model, in which you are also aware, Mida. Now, the question is that if you look at it, here I get the clusters and I can give them a counseling. Our counseling was essentially the objective of the students those days were, would like to join in multinational companies without knowing what multinational company is. I like to join FMCG. I think this type of nomenclature is no more sufficient. What skill you require to join your job, and these job specific requirements are there. You see, it's very uneven world, I think. Basically, it's not a very socialist world. See, where you have job, you don't have people. Where you don't have people, you have jobs. I think AI can really resolve this issue. And I think if you are very much aware that a proper data analytics will give you an insight to you. And people are not lacking in terms of their cognitive development. They know which side of the bread to butter. Naturally, they will come and they will give you appropriate emphasis. So if we cannot connect this, and I find that AI is an inevitable tool for connecting these two. Say, for example, it is no use to say, now, people are very interesting. See, some of the people, aspirants, those who are graduating from my institute, say IIT Kharagpur, they are getting in touch with me informally, asking me, sir, I don't want to pursue. I have got a score of 332, and I want to go and I don't want to pursue computer science. I say, what do you want to do then? No, I want to pursue in an area which is very close to my heart. I say, what is close to your heart? No, I want to join in terms of the financial analytics. And I would like to expertise myself in terms of finance domain. I said that you have already got an offer. He has got an offer, open offer with scholarship from from some of the elite school institutions. I have told them that no. If you are going to do that, I think probably you have to reorient yourself and don't join the institute which is giving you 100% scholarship in computer science. Now, the idea is that the actual need of the society market has to be aligned with the academic world. And this could not be done earlier, as everybody is telling. I think all of you, Professor Dr. Commander Jana has said, Dr. Jana has said, Mr. Bhupesh has said. I think essentially the gap has to be bridged, and AI is giving us a wonderful opportunity to bridge the gap. And I feel that we all should try to take advantage of it, such platforms. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your insight. So my next question is to Mr. Bhupesh Deheria, sir. Sir, you as MUNI have been providing job recommender system. You have already spoken about it. So would you also like to enlighten on that? How can AI be used in a job placement for any candidate based on the specific skills that they have?
I think it's quite an old use case, just like you go on Amazon, and if you try to really buy a mobile phone, Amazon gives you a lot of recommendations, right? And so do a lot of good job sites like LinkedIn or maybe Indeed. So this recommender system has become a de facto platform in terms of personalization, giving the right recommendation. And making recommendation system is also pretty easy. It's not rocket science. Essentially, it works the way human being gives the advice. So let's say if somebody has done a computer science and somebody has done a mechanical engineering, and there is a job of production and there is a job of software developer, whom you would advise for which job? Will you advise a mechanical engineer software development job, or will you advise a mechanical engineer production job? Right. So of course you'll advise a mechanical engineer production job, and a computer scientist, CS guy, software development job. Now we understand, and the same thing can you really replicate at a scale wherein you have to give advices to millions of students. And for that, you have to just simply build a mathematical model. And this mathematical model need to really work at a scale. And then it need to really work into some PHP site or a mobile app. And that's what called machine learning, right? If you have to complicate it. So it is a fairly simple thing and very powerful thing, but it really create the impact and ease out the life of millions of people. And on the flip side, which is profile recommender. So profile recommender is basically served to, say, recruiter. If recruiter has posted a job, let's say for a financial analyst or or a marketing guy or a sales guy, or for that matter anybody, you write the job description, you write the skills, you also put some academic qualification, right? You can also put some cutoff for 10th, 12th or other stuff, which typically happens in campus recruitment. And now if you have to really do manually, which we already did, say 10 years back, and you have say 2 lakh people have applied for that job, it becomes kind of a nightmare to really shortlist those candidates, right? And that's where the AI really comes into handy, that it automatically shortlists and it automatically rates the various profile based on various characteristics like their academic profile, their skills, their interests, right? And serve the and create the rating and serve the best profile to the companies, right? And likewise, the best job to the candidate. So this is going to be de facto, and it is not a future thing. It is currently used by many companies, and Seagull, which is a campus recruitment platform used by thousands of institutions in this country, they're using it. Hundreds of recruiters are using it day to day.
Extending this question to, thank you, sir, for that brief explanation of how it actually works. Extended this question to Dr. Ashish Tendulkar, sir. Sir, do you also, I would like to give you, sir has given the insight on how the tool can be used to parse the CV and recommend. So when you are hiring or when anybody is hired, so how is it from industry point of view? How is any candidate or how are the candidates scanned or, taken a look at that? If you can quickly take a glance at that,
So recruitment is really one of the most expensive and important function. With AI and this continuous assessment, like platform like MUni, which is collecting a lot of data about students, about continuous assessment and their history, right? I mean, so in some sense, MUni is vetting candidates for me. And if MUni is vetting candidates for me, my recruitment process can really be lightweight, where I can see that this candidate has been vetted by MUni because of its past record, with all the with whatever activities that student has done. It becomes recruitment process becomes much more simpler for us. Yeah.
For that insight. So again, coming back to, since our panel discussion topic is applications of AI in education. So I would like each one of you to give me an insight on what do you think can be the challenges in applying AI in education? So if each one of you, I will start with Dr. Jana, sir. So if you can give us the insight on what could be the actual challenges. We've been talking about integrating AI in education and, for improvising the processes. But what could be the potential challenges that an institute or the whole education can face while implementing these changes?
Sir, you're mute.
Sir, if you can please unmute yourself. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Nida. And this is an excellent question, and it is a quite broad-based. Let me start with why the students are coming to the engineering college. As Dr. Gangopeda said earlier, we are coming for the knowledge. Now it is for the job, all but the job and how much money you can get at the end of the education. Okay, so considering that, placement is one area where this AI can do a wonderful job. It requires, it is not only in the giving the job, also giving a sustainable placement system for all the candidates. That is, that give the right candidate the right job profile or engage them. Engage the student with the industry for the right job. How to decide that the right job? That means you have to first analyze the student, start from its aptitude. What is his aptitude for any particular job? The aptitude is built up not by the education, 4 years of engineering or 4 years of college education he had, but the aptitude is built up by the, from childhood till the time he has come up to that stage. And also the genetics he is carrying. So if we analyze the entire amount of data which is available for analyzing his aptitude, it is not humanly possible. It is where you will require AI to a great extent. Having analyzed that, I'll share my experience. When in a skill, I was heading the telecom sector skill council. So we wanted to make a labor market information intelligence system. That's where the labor is required and where the job is. We want to marry both. It was an impossible task. The data is so enormous, and the data is so fast changing that it was difficult to capture it and marry it and produce some desirable result. So having said that, the AI can perhaps help in finding out the location of the person, seeing that, or the candidate, seeing that what the job is available, seeing that what is their aptitude, seeing that what is his skill till date he has, and where the job available, can he again be reskilled with some other additional complement so that he is ready for a particular job he is looking for. All this analysis can be done using the artificial intelligence software packages or the steps. Without and look at the industry side also, the industry requirement, and the industry requirement is also ever changing. Every time the technology changes takes place, and the industry requirement also changes. So that market dynamics also need to be captured. And if you have found a guy who has got the aptitude for that particular job, for that industry, he can be reskilled. It can be augmented, aided every time what sort of reskilling is required, so that you have him there for a sustainable period. Otherwise, he keeps changing job from one to another and become a social problem. Whenever, because the mental stress what he carries becomes a problem by itself. So the AI can be a savior for all this stress management of the students by placing the right person in the right job slot. Okay, so you can say that in the college has gotten a placement section also. Okay, you cannot break that system or write down, or just like that. You have to perhaps, they may find AI as a threat initially, because it will do all that they are doing, and it will do all that they are doing in much more efficiently. But that fear is perhaps unfounded. The placement system which is existing in the colleges perhaps will become more efficient. They can connect the students if they are doing it today for say 50, 60 industries. Then with AI present, they can do it with 1,000 industries. Give more options to the candidates and give more option to the industries to choose from. So these are the things which are possible by AI. So AI, if an education system will be if the element where it will be most effective is the placement.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Srinivasan, sir, would you like to add anything to that?
Madam,
what are the challenges?
Yeah, the implementation of AI, if we talk about our ML, normally these things will help us if we want to scale it up your business. If you talk about any businesses, these are the business trends, not only in the education sector, any sector. The uniqueness about that AI, machine language, digitization, these are all having some uniqueness about businesses. You want to scale it up. That scope of your business, you want to expect beyond your scope, economies of scale and economies of scope. And you want to make your learning as a much more experiences. These are all things if you want to do it. Now, that DNA, you should have it. Then only the AI will be useful to you. I want to make the education into volume, low price, because it has some uniqueness. But even today, business look like Harvard Business School. reluctant to use that some extent, even though we talk about world-class education everywhere. Let's put hypothetically, if Harvard uses the AI and machine languages, everything digitization, if they make the course fees, not necessarily 60 lakhs, it could come to 6 lakhs. Entire world can benefit, not only by 600 students, 6 lakh students. But is it my purpose, is my objective? Because it has its own pros and cons. For example, I don't mind to use AI to show strawberry, how it looks like. You know, what are the characteristics, what are the uniqueness of strawberry. But country like India, I can go to the, to the farm and show you this is what strawberry, this is what. Why should I do it through system? When I do it in reality, it will become much more cheaper. I can bring real experiences with a lower price because mine is not a volume driven, mine is value driven. So both are good. We are not saying which is better, but how am I going to use it as ROI? That is my major challenge if we want to use the technology, especially about artificial. Again, it has advantage. Once if you recorded, that is a flip-flopping, there are multiple advantages we discussed many times. But how am I going to make it lively? How am I going to integrate in our curriculum? What is industry-based? Where industry also should appreciate it. If my cost escalates, are they going to share it? Or will the students is going to share it? Because this is what my challenge is all about. Without doing it, I can do, because every institute may not have the same policy. We can't make it into general, as other panel members said. We have to customize, I have to see my limitation. If we talk about IT, if everybody is going to talk about information technology, some people will give nomenclature inviting trouble. IT for the nomenclature is inviting trouble, not information technology. So if I go to that fellow and talk about what is the use of AI, they may not understand also. So the organization should have the DNA where they have a bigger vision, where they want to really game changer of the industry, where I want to make it something unique. Then that will be a great thing. If you try to use bits and pieces, always the challenge will be there. You find difficult to connect the dots.
Thank you, sir, for your insight on the challenges. So, Rupesh, sir, if you would like to add to that, challenges in implementation of AI in the entire education system.
So I think there are three challenges predominantly. And number one, which Dr. Srinivas has also highlighted, is basically humans are at the center, right? So they are the catalyst and they are also obstacle for the growth. So they need to change the mindset, right from policy makers to the students to the faculty members, right? And they need to really embrace AI in a full-fledged way rather than just lip service on the conferences. So one is, of course, is the mindset, and which comes from the top to bottom, right? The second part is, and this mindset change will also come from multiple point of view, which Dr. Srinivas also tried to really highlight, is about ROI, it's about the cost, it's about the scale, and it's about the mission and vision. So technology is enabler, which helps you in your operating model. So what is your mission? What is your vision? What is your business model, right? So if your business model is that you have to really support on ground students and you have to serve only 30 candidates rather than 3 lakh candidates, then you have to really rethink where you can really use AI, because human intelligence is far superior for analyzing 30 student behavior and performance and supporting them. And AI perhaps may fail for the 30 student. It has got its own limitation. So that's one piece. The second part is, of course, you need data. So whether it is 30 student or whether it is 30 million or 300 million, right? So if you have to really build model, and models are basically nothing but real life representation in the mathematical form, right? So you need data, right? And the data, you need say tools to capture the data, and you also need place to store the data and then analyze. Then the whole technology comes into the picture. But which are the apparatus from the data is being captured, and the topmost apparatus for capturing the data is learning management system. Unfortunately, country like India, the LMS penetration is hardly 3%, right? So if you don't have the behavioral data, if you don't have the learners, what time they are watching the video, what time they're submitting the assignment, you don't have the behavioral data, right? You only have the final grade, which is compiled by the university, which is also lying in the silo, but you don't have the behavioral data. If you don't have the behavioral data, how are you going to really model the student learning? That's a big challenge. So you need to have the larger base of the digital infrastructure. And I think government is also trying to really take an initiative on that. SWAYAM has been launched. India has rolled out digital stack, and I hope that in future also India will try to really do something on building up a digital stack. So what various component you require is LMS, you require CRM, you require online application, you require say a job portal, which is campus recruitment, right? You require assessment system, and all these systems need to really pull the data at one centralized place so that you can really get the real insight for taking actions, doing the prediction, giving the nudges that yes, this job is not suitable, apply for that job. You're not suitable for this course, adopt for this course. This program is not suitable, why don't you really do another course, right? Or maybe you'll not be able to complete this course in 1 year. Perhaps it will take 3 years time, right? So why to really force him to really complete that program in 1 year? They can really take 3 years. And that's where new education policy is also moving on the credit-based system. BWalk is also a move toward that. So that's the second piece. So one is basically human, the mindset, right? Your mission, vision, your business objective. The second piece is, of course, data and data infrastructure. And the last piece, which is a critical piece, even though you get all the data, like for example, at MUni, we have all the data, right? Building up a modeling is also very difficult because learning changes. Learning is not static, it's a dynamic. And even though while you have the digital systems, there are a lot of learning which happens out of the digital system, which is in the classroom, right? Which is the faculty's behavior, faculty's mood, right? The environment in which they are learning, right? And to give you a perspective, let's say Ukraine war, Russian-Ukraine war is happening, right? When bomb is dropping on your head, how you're going to really study, right? Extreme example. So the environment also need to be conducive, right? For a student, the motivations are multiple motivation factors. As you also said that yes, today student is thinking to become doctor, tomorrow he is thinking to become an engineer, and day after tomorrow hairdresser. So the interests are also changing, and these interests are also driven by the external forces. So how do you really build the model, right? So modeling is building itself is a challenge, right? But of course, most of the models are probabilistic, so we are not trying to really claim that yes, we will build a deterministic model. This can really give you a direction, this can give you the recommendation, and of course human intervention will be required. So whether it is a faculty member or whether a student, but at least those directions will be without the biases, right? And that will really help. So we have seen that yes, in limited scope, whatever the data we have been able to really generate, yes, one area which is job recommender system, I think that yes, we have been we had a great satisfaction that yes, you're able to do the justice, right? You can also predict student performance, and there are various student learning models like Bayesian knowledge tracing based on hidden Markov model, right? So there are a lot of research which is going around, very simple models, and I think if universities come together, start sharing the data, if faculty members open up their mind, right, while they're teaching machine learning or statistics, right? These are simple things which they can really start as a class work or a project work, which can also give a lot of insight about the way they are teaching, and it can really improve drastically the learner's performance and finally the learning outcome.
Thank you, sir. I think you've taken through us the entire cycle on, where and what AI can be used in education system. Any of the panelists would like to add to that question? Any of your viewpoints?
I think Dr. Ashish is here. He would like to add some points. Dr. Ashish?
Yeah. So, yeah, some of the challenges are also about collecting right kind of data, right? I mean, this problem is also like, it's a web skill problem.
Right.
Job data is quite scattered everywhere. So we need good engineering systems to continuously crawl those sites, get the data, organize it. And second is matching students to the job. I think that is fairly simple problem, as you said, because once you have data, matching is not that rocket science. And then there are other tools, like, because there are these sites will have different formats and things like that. How do you really extract structured data from this and keep it up to date? I think those are some of the key challenges, in my opinion. I think student side, we have pretty much all the data. But on the job side, how do you get that data and generate meaningful recommendations for students? I think that is very, very important, in my opinion.
Absolutely, sir. So we've been talking about, how the entire education system can be incorporated together, and with the use of artificial intelligence. It is not just one section of education that needs upskilling, or that needs, it's the entire process, be it the LMS system or the job recommendation system, or understanding the patterns of the behavior of the students. So all of these things, as rightly pointed by Bhupesh sir, that all of these things need to come to a central point, from where you can actually really analyze, the behavior, and in continuation, if we can really manage to develop a system, from a primary school to the college to the job, the entire mapping of any candidate from the primary level to the secondary level, it will definitely help us a lot. And when we try and build the model, though it would be difficult, as we are involved with the human behavior, but definitely if we do it on the larger scale with the implementation of neural networks and huge amount of data, definitely we can do some learning, and at each point some learning could be done, and we will be able to develop a good AI system where the entire education system is integrated towards it. So since we are having 5 more minutes to go for the panel discussion, I would like each panelist to give your quick 1 minute take on our topic today, that applications of AI in education. We have covered various sectors, be it the LMS or job recommendation, parsing the skills from the CV. We've covered almost everything. So one quick take from all the panelists onto this. So I would like to start with Dr. Abhijit Gangopadhyay, sir.
Thanks. I think I'll now tell I think basically you have to always think that we think something and do something. There's a lot of gap between these two. So for example, in the academic world, I think if I have some experiences, I have seen that discretion is the only factor which is satisfying for academicians. So you are trying to rob, I think I'm alarmed, you are trying to rob that discretionary authority. So for example, now I'm vulnerable to data. I think for that, you have to really modulate your academic, these ecosystems. I am not exposed to such reality when I am confronted with database. And this is one of the major blocks which we have to encounter. You see, everything sounds very good, but the question is that in terms of the implementation, we resist, and this resistance will come from the student sides, from the academic side, from the recruiter side, everyone. So for example, you lose your discretion, but it has to be. Say for example, when we have a faceless assessment of every activities of our life, we always think, now there is no officer or no person who is responsible. It comes automatically, it churns out. It is very, very disturbing. I don't know how much you can absorb, but being a old timer, I find it extremely difficult. When I get my entire submission processed in 1 minute or 2 minutes, and which earlier used to take 2 months, and then all my anomalies are detected. Now, this will be applicable. Now, how much our society can be upgraded? And I think we should, academicians or academic world, should try to sensitize this society. And now look, we are going for a challenge in which no error can be done. And if you are going to do some error. You see, objective of AI is to eliminate all errors. It's very, very challenging. I think yesterday also I was talking to somebody, to Mr. Bhupesh only. I was telling one day I was doing something for booking a ticket, and immediately they said, "Are you sure you are above 75? Are you going to opt for it?" So this is what exactly is disturbing, because everything is known to everyone, and this world, academic world, has to bridge. We have no option but to accept it. But how fast we'll be able to accept it, that is the reality. And immediately I said, yes, I am willing to accept. Now, this is what is the moral of the story. Please understand, you can't talk something and do something. In terms of the whole thing, is very, very rational. But are we rational? And if we are not rational, behavioral interface will definitely obstruct. As a teacher, the type of autonomy we had, it will all will be going. As a recruiter, the type of autonomy people used to have, that also will be going. And I think I have seen these different spaces of the developmental process. You see, it's not a model building. It is basically serving the humanity, getting data systematized. And that is the contribution of AI. We have no escape. We have to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your take. I would request Dr. Jena, sir, to give your words.
I think we have, to sum up both the sessions, what we have, I think one aspect which has been missed out from discussion is the data security, because you'll be doing handling data which are not in anyone's domain. It is lying in multiple domain with multiple controls. How to convince the other guy, yes, whatever data you are sharing is going to be safe, and there will be a trail which is visible to him. So this aspect, to give him, the data owner, the confidence that your data will not be misutilized, is one aspect which need to be evolved as you are gaining or the training process or learning process in AI. So this should not be missed out. Otherwise, you will face practical challenges of sharing of the data. Okay. The second aspect I want to bring it out, which perhaps not been adequately dwelt, is that we have talked of teaching the faculty, creating the content, and we have also talked of this industry and academia should collaborate. But how they collaborate? The current education system is built in little silos. And even if the new education policy, though it shows of the intent, then there has to be extensive interaction between the industry and the academia, but it has not given the methods how to do it. So one of the methods which can be quickly perhaps implemented is that if AI has to be taught, if it is an interfacing language, like we taught computer science to interface between machine and the human beings. Similarly, AI is going to be another interface language for aiding human being to take its decision or whatever he is trying to do. So in such a case, can the faculty, the entire academic community, move for a month or two in a year to see what is the industry need and draft out in their premises? We are sending the students, but we don't send the faculties, because who is in a position to better understand what is the industry need and translate into a curriculum so that which can be implemented for teaching. So this perhaps the industry, the faculty moving to the industry for limited period in a year, because everything is changing in the industry also. So, and keep themselves abreast with the changes happening in the industry, and then design the AI system would be perhaps very useful.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting those points about security, which indeed is an important factor whenever you're dealing with any kind of data. Dr. Srinivasan, sir, your take on this, about the whole quick take on, applications of AI in education.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. In fact, I would like to end from where I started. Entire world is going towards digitization. Everybody talk about AI and ML. So nobody could able to stop. Only they can be able to postpone it. But what capacity are you going to use it? Because if you're going to asset, because both has its own pros and cons. All business models are good. Which business model are you going to talk about? If we talk about Oyo also in the business, having a 1,20,000 keys, same thing if we talk about is competing with Tata Hotels, where it takes 40 rooms to 4 years, whereas he gets 60 rooms in 1 hour. So both our customers are accepting it. Market is open. Now, as an education institution, we'll have to decide. Because if I go to AI, I'm talking about in personal. That variability, the personal touch, it can't give. But it can give more flexible, flip-flop. You can flop it many times. You can use it, especially in the IT technology. AI is the best tool. There is no second thought. Have 100 times, do the programming, understand the language. That faculty will fed up after a few minutes, frustration. But here the casting will become, once it is done, lifelong learning. You become a loyal toward that, you can make it, there will be a connection, there is a new teaching talent, you can address the market, it is cost effective, it can have a absolutely fabulous proposition for retention, loyalty, lifelong learning. It has all the benefits. But also we should understand that how far you can run the premium, not a premium. If I teach, it is a premium. But if I go to AI, it is a premium. After some time, when the break-even happens, money comes, it's irrelevant. You can make it volume and make it free. That's what the AI does. You can understand the body language, it does everything. You can ask anything, ask Alexa. Today, entire world is going towards that. But to go to the scale level to the individual universities, as he said, Bhupesh said, 800 colleges in Bombay University. How am I going to do that? When will I get to do that? Challenges of implementation become challenging. Again, as I told you, nobody can stop. They can only have to accept it. It's an inconvenient truth. Maybe 2 years, 5 years, 6 years. The way EV vehicle is coming up, we are removing from that. But still, there will be a market for petrol vehicle. Market is for everyone. That's what I believe. Thank you. Bhupesh, I'm done. I think Nida got.
So thank you for such a wonderful point, Dr. Srinivas. So I think it is, as you rightly said, it is inevitable. It is just matter of time. You don't have the choices. You have to really eventually go with the wind. And specifically when India has an ambitious target to really double the income of everybody. And when we have ambitious target that, yes, we have to become the hub of skilled workers of the world. When we have an ambitious target to become the AI skill hub of the world, you can't really achieve without using AI. Your scale is massive. Your number of enrollments in school is bigger than 90% of the countries in this world, right? Your higher education enrollment is as good as Canada's population. You don't have many teachers, and for last 25 years, I have been hearing in hundreds of conferences, people are talking about, yes, upgrade the faculty, upgrade the faculty. In last 25 years, 50 years, we have not done. Maybe in next 100 years, we'll not be able to do. So the only thing is, in this world, we need to really augment with the capability of the AI. AI is not likely to replace the human teachers, but it can really, of course, make us a superhuman being. It can really prepare us to battle the fight, wherein we can really take the piece of this $15 trillion economy, which in next 8 years, AI is going to really build. Today, education market, education revenue across the world is roughly around $6 trillion. Education industry is among the world's top 5 industry. It is having a huge contribution in GDP of a lot of Western countries. Today, in this global revenue, India's revenue contributes roughly around 2%. GDP is contribution in world is roughly around 3%, right? If we have to really go to say 10% or 15%, even 15%, which was in 16th century, we need to adapt to this AI. And that's the only way through which we can really rule the world and bring back our glory, and we can really create the world-class academic institutions. And I don't see that we can really achieve it without the adoption of AI applications in academia, in universities. And of course, we can't really deliver the AI education without the AI. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nida, for such a wonderful panel discussion. Thank you, Dr. Srinivasan.
My pleasure.
Thank you to all the panelists for joining us and giving your valuable time for this panel discussion. What sir said is rightly, without adoption, there is no moving further. So we would end on to that note. Once again, thank you to all the panelists for this wonderful panel discussion. I would like to invite Anita ma'am for the thank you note.
And before we depart, I would like to really appeal all the academicians present in this conference. Do write to us. We would love to really collaborate with your institution for setting up the AI lab for social good and education. We can really facilitate the models, mentors. We can also facilitate the large amount of the data, which is essential for building any kind of model. We can really extend internship, and we can really collaborate with your faculty members for building up various AI applications. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anita, over to you.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the speakers. I would like to really thank everyone for joining this event today, to all the participants, to all the academicians, to everybody from the institute. I guess there's some problem with my video. Who have participated and joined us in today's event on AI and education. Also, I would like to extend my thank you to all our key speakers and panelists for their time and adding so much value to today's event with their deep insight on all the topics discussed around AI education and how it can really support or transform the education. So thank you everyone for joining us. And once again, thank you to all the participants for joining us. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.